Well, welcome back, you absolute Super Nintendo Switch 2 gamers. Alright, so today we're going to be making a video reacting to the coverage of the latest Nintendo Switch Direct, Nintendo Direct that just came out. So just before we start off the video, just to set people's expectations, we did not get an announcement for the latest Nintendo Switch. We did not get an announcement for the latest Super Mario Odyssey game. We did not get an announcement for a new Super Mario Kart game, but you know what we did get? We absolutely got a new announcement for a new game, Metroid Prime 4, and that is coming out a lot sooner than people expected. So the reason why I started off with talking about what we didn't get and what we did get is because I'm going to start off with the takeaway, for me at least, with the new Nintendo Direct. It is for the new Metroid Prime. It's my favorite game. It was the highlight of the show, in my opinion. And that's the game that I'm most excited about. All right, so I got the list. So they did cover technically 31 games coming out. Some of them were freshly announced, some of them were already announced in the past. There are some games that we'll get to that didn't actually meet the individual list because it's a compilation. So I'm not going to be discussing every single game in depth. I'm going to be discussing the games that I took away, and there's going to be some that I'm just going to ignore. Because if I make a video for 31 games, we're going to be here until tomorrow. Alright, so the first game that they announced was Mario and Luigi. So here's the thing. So I grew up playing Nintendo games, and I recently came back to the Nintendo after like 20 years of playing strictly PlayStation and Xbox games. So I'm a very critical person. You might not agree with my takes, but these are how I perceive the games. This is the impression that the games left. You might not agree. That's definitely not a problem, but make sure you watch the entire video, see where we do a line. Alright, so the first game they announced was Mario and Luigi Brothership. So when they first announced Super Mario Bros. Wonder, it did look like a good game to me, but it looked like too much of a kiddie game, and I wasn't interested in it. But I was always going to pick up Mario Wonder, and I actually did pick it up. If you guys caught the last video, you'll see me playing the first few levels of it, and man, it was great. But this one, the Mario and Luigi Brothership, something is very off. There's something very off about the game. The color, the shadows, the art style. It doesn't look like a Mario game that Nintendo made. Kind of looks more of a Mario Nintendo of America. Might have had quite a bit of hand in it. And then the next game that they showcased was the Nintendo World Championships Nintendo Edition. So that's a whole bunch of games from the classic Nintendo library. I grew up playing these games, like the Marios and the Zeldas. So these look like very interesting games, especially since there's like a more focus of, competitiveness. So you can do like speedrunning competitions and whatever. So I thought that was actually pretty damn cool. I would love to be wearing this hat for the video, but with the humidity, we're almost 40 degrees in Montreal. We have a nice cool breeze, which helps out a lot, but it would be way too hot underneath this very, very thick, foamy hat. So then the next game they talked about was Fairy Tail 2. It's really not a game for me, so I'm not going to talk about it. Then we had Fantasian. It's Fantasian Neo Dimension. I wrote here, it's interesting turn-based RPG. Again, not a game that I'm going to be picking up. And then they had this weird game, weird characters, Spocko Square Sport. So they're expanding on that. So apparently this is like an existing franchise that's already out there, but they decided to put this into the showcase because they're adding basketball. All right. Next, they showed Mio Memories in Orbit. Hand-drawn Metroidvania looks alright, but not a game that I'll be picking up. And then there's a lot of odd games, like very licensed indie games, like Disney Illusion Island. I'm wholly not interested in that. So I watched a couple of people's videos after the Nintendo Direct before I made this video, just so I can get different perspectives. The one I agreed with the most was Ryucar. You guys will be hearing me talking about Ryucar in a lot of my Nintendo videos, because he was the guy that pushed me over the edge to get my interest so far that I made the purchase of the Nintendo Switch OLED edition. And man, since then I just dropped the Xbox and mostly focusing on this and PlayStation 5 games. I will be playing the Game Pass first edition games, so we'll be talking about that showcase in a later video. Might be up in the next couple of days. Then they had the Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Look, I'll play Princess Peach Showtime, but you won't catch me play the Hello Kitty game unless my little nieces want to give it a try. But apart from that, you can miss me. Then game number 9, Looney Tunes Wacky World Sports. That looks like a $5 game that came out on the Game Boy Advance, no, not Game Boy Advance, but maybe a PlayStation 2. So that's really not a game I'm interested in. I don't really play sports games. I play sports in real life. And then there was a little bit of an announcement for an expansion, an update for Among Us. Never played it, no interest. Then they had the Underworld Felicidad. I didn't write anything for that one, so it didn't really stick out to me. And then the next one, which was the first game on this list that really got my attention, my interest, and I knew it was going to get Ryukar's interest up as well, and that's Donkey Kong Country. So it's the HD 2D remake, so that is definitely a game that I will be buying. So you're going to notice one thing with the Donkey Kong HD remaster, the Donkey Kong Country Return. There is a very, very distinct lack of magenta and magenta highlighting on that game, and it really like pops at you because it very much looks so different. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm not a big fan of magenta or ultraviolet because it is a very, very obvious color, a very attention-grabbing color, and I just really don't like it. If you want to know why I don't like it, watch my Purple Rain video or watch my Xbox Summer Game Showcase. So the Nintendo videos I'm always going to keep as family friendly as possible. So I keep politics and stuff like that and swearing out of these videos. So, and then if you guys hear kids, that's my neighbors. They have they're in their pool having fun. I wish I was doing that right now. And then the next announcement they made was the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. It's an old school RPG. So I know Dragon Quest is a very popular game. It's also a very, very old game. So that one is alright. And then a game that does actually pique my interest. It's the Funko Fusion. So that's on multi-platform. I know it's on PlayStation. Well, coming out on PlayStation. I don't know if it's coming out on the Xbox, but that does look like a very good game. But the thing that it's very intellectual property. There's a whole bunch of different games and movie Funko Pops that are in it. So I'm almost 100% certain that's going to be a massive cash cow where they'll be selling DLC, microtransactions, and things like this. I haven't seen anything talking about it, but you can almost be guaranteed that they'll be doing this. If not, look, if I was making that game, I would definitely be doing it. It would be a missed opportunity. Not a good thing for the gamers, but when it comes to the companies, they got to make their money. So that's why I think it's going to be a microtransaction heck. All right, and then the next one, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I knew I packed this game for a reason. All right, so I am playing currently the Luigi's Mansion 3. It's really, really fun. I just think that this should have been released after the 1 and 2 HD remakes, but I'm not really complaining because I do like this game. And you are damn right, I will be purchasing this when it comes out. All right, and then number 16, the new Denpaman. Nah. Then we have Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. So I love the Metal Gear Slug series. I have all the games. I've been playing them since they were in the arcades. Great looking games. So this one it's still a side scroller, but it's like a tower defense. So like your army is marching from left to right to defeat the opposing force. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's already available. It's $14 Canadian. I'm contemplating picking it up, but I'm also contemplating just playing my Metal Slug games. All right, and then the 18th game they announced was the Darkest Dungeon. So that one, there is a big fan base for the game. I've never really played it, but it is kind of like a roguelike not dungeon crawler, because it is anyways, if you've played the game and you're a fan of the game, you know what it is. I'm not going to spend too much more time talking about that because I'm not going to be buying it. I'm not going to be playing it, but I know a lot of people do like that game, and it's a crazy fan base. Crazy meaning dedicated. They love the game. And then the next one, it's more classics added to the eShop. So these were the games where I'm saying that I didn't include them as part of individually because they're a compilation of the classics being re-released as they were. So we have Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Four Swords. So that one I'm definitely going to be purchasing. If it's available today, I should have taken note if it was available today. So that one, because that was one of my favorite games when I was growing up. Link to the Past, Four Swords. I didn't play it, but I think you need 4 players. I don't know if you could play it solo, but it is a great looking game. And then they also introduced Metroid Zero Mission. So that one I'm actually very curious. I've never played that one before, but I am interested in it. And along with that, they're also introducing the Nintendo 64 Mature 17 Plus games library. So they have 2 games. So they have Turok. So the original Turok on the N64, and then a game which I didn't know they were releasing it, but I wasn't surprised when they said it because it's also coming. The remake is coming to the Xbox, and that's Perfect Dark. So I know that game originally was great. The Xbox 360 game was also great. If they're remastering that, I will be playing that, but I'm not really interested in the reimagining. I'm not interested in females with cherubim chins. All right, next game they were talking about Phantom Brave, the lost hero. I can't even remember what the game looks like, so I wrote here not for me. So moving on. So here's another this I think is the 5th game that got my interest. So it's Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. That one is also a must play. It's going to be also released on the PlayStation. That's where I'm going to be buying it, not on the Switch, because I'd rather play it with better graphics and recording in 4K with the PlayStation 5 capture capability. So the reason why I'm very much excited for this one is because one of my favorite arcade games, Marvel arcade games, The Punisher, is included. So that's my main thing for buying it. And then you have a whole bunch of other Marvel vs. Capcom games that were seldom seen in the West. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there's like 8 games, and it also includes X-Men Children of the Atom. So that one I'm going to be checking out as well. And then moving on to the 6th game that really piqued my interest, and these games never piqued my interest in the past, and that is the Super Mario Party. So this one is called Jamboree. So this one actually, I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because I have the Super Mario obsession, the mania now, but this one does look actually great. I will definitely be making the purchase once it comes out, playing it with my nieces, maybe play with a couple of friends if they're interested. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be purchasing that one as well. And then they announced the next Zelda game. So it's Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So you're not playing Link, you're playing Zelda in this one. I've always thought about that game coming out, but the way that they're presenting it, I'm really not interested in it. It seems more of a kid's game than like a young girl's game, like 10 years old, 12 years old. I see more like under 10-year-old girls being the target of that. It's a very simple game, and I'm not knocking it for that, but I'm just saying it's not an interest. I'm not interested personally in playing it. Again, I will play Princess Peach because I did like the demo, so I will be purchasing Princess Peach Showtime. But this one, it didn't really grab my my attention. But if there is a company that could make female gamers, it's Nintendo, because Nintendo knows how to attract kids' attention and keep their attention. So they are the only company that I feel fully confident in being capable of creating a generation of gamer girls. And I'm talking about real gamer girls, not inappropriate for this video. All right, so then we have the next one, Just Dance. Just missed me with that. Then we have Lego Horizon. This one does actually look freaking great. I do like the Horizon games. I dislike the protagonist, much more so in the latest game. But this one, man, I'm gonna be buying on the PlayStation 5 on launch, because it does look great. Just Aloy doesn't transfer as a likable Lego character, but the world absolutely will look great. Definitely will be buying it. Day one, not sure, but I'll definitely be making the purchase. If anybody wants to hook a Greek brother up with a gamer code, absolutely let me know. And then, all right, guys, we're almost done. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more games to go, and one of them we already talked about. So the next game is Stray. So Stray is already a game that's been released. It's available on the PlayStation. It's a very fascinating game, very unique game. You play as a cat, third-person perspective, and you're on an adventure. I never played it, but I do know anybody that's played it absolutely likes the game, and a lot of people do love the game. So if you don't have a PlayStation 5, you have a Nintendo Switch, check it out. And then we have Tales of the Shire, No Tanks. I love Lord of the Rings, but this game, not a game that's my style whatsoever. Then we have Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Move on. Number 29, the 100 line, Last Defense of Academy. I don't know if it's supposed to be a Persona type of game, but again, I just wrote no, so moving on. And then we have Romancing Saga 2. Again, I wrote no, and then I wrote next to it, but it has updated combat, so the combat in the game is at least faster. So a lot of people that the couple of people that I watched talking about the Nintendo Direct that did play the Romancing Saga games, apparently these games are incredibly long. So with the addition of an updated gaming interface, a combat interface, combat style actually, it's designed to keep the game moving faster than the original. So I can't recommend it because I never played it, but I am aware of the franchise, but it's just not for me. And lastly, Nintendo Prime. Metroid Prime 4. So we already talked about in the beginning of the game. So that is my takeaway of the Nintendo Direct. It's definitely a game I'll be buying day one, just like I bought Nintendo Prime on day one. So this is the number one game for me. Marvel vs. Capcom. But if we're talking about strictly Nintendo games, Mario Party is a takeaway. The additions to the Nintendo eShop, which are the Zelda games, the Link to the Past, Luigi's Mansion 2, absolutely Donkey Kong Country. So the two top games that I'm looking forward to are Donkey Kong Country HD and Metroid Prime. So guys, I really appreciate you guys so much giving me some of your time today. If you guys didn't watch the whole video, hopefully you guys are going to be watching it broken up throughout your day. These are good videos to watch while you're eating supper or lunch, or just have it in the background as white noise. So I very much appreciate you guys giving me your time today. Come back for the next video. And as always, stay stellar and stay tuned for the next videos. The next one I'll be working on is the Xbox. I'm not really looking forward to that, to making that that video. More looking forward to it than the PlayStation, but not as whatever. All right, guys. So I'll catch you on the next one. Giga Vega out. All right, later.